Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of The Way I See It. My name is Chris. Today, I really want to go ahead and kind of shed some light on a YouTube video that's you probably never heard of. One of it's called How the Economic Machine Works by Ray Dalio. I don't know if you know about Ray Dalio, but Ray Dalio is a entrepreneur in his own right, but he's also an investor. He has been very, very successful being the CEO of Bridgewater Associates. He's also played a lot of roles in investments, and he actually spent 6 years ago sharing some of his, I guess, he's shedding some of his experiences to the audience, and it's called how the economic machine works, or How the Economy Works by Ray Dalio. In under 30 minutes, he does a very good job breaking everything down, and I would basically want you to actually take some time in looking at this, because of the fact that like my 4 or 5 minute video only helps to get you excited about it. But if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you really want to get into a business, you really want to have a life for yourself, a lot of people are going to try to get you to, sign up for all these different courses and spend all this money, when it's actually going to take you're going to have to spend a little bit of information every single day, reading it, talking about it with other people, sharing it online, to get the right amount of information that you need to move in the direction that you want to get done. And one way I really feel like everybody needs to pay attention to is that you need to understand how the economy works. And Ray Dalio does a pretty good damn job explaining it. And we probably already have some idea, but I would like to go ahead and just try to spend like the next 3-4 minutes just I guess paraphrasing and shortening down what is going on inside that video. So here it is. Okay, so Ray Dalio basically talks about the fact that our economy works in America just like how it works anywhere else in the world. And even though it can be very, very complex, it boils down to a couple of small, simple steps. That the economy is basically the sum of all the markets in the economy. So all the different markets that we basically have, we have like the financial market, we have the real estate market, we have the education market, we have the fishery market, we have the people market, we have services. All these different things are all made up of different markets. And then each market is a sum of all the transactions that make up those markets. The markets can basically have transactions between two different people, two different businesses, a person to a business, business to person. It doesn't really matter. You always have a buyer and a seller. One person's income is another person's one person's income is always somebody else's bill. Oof. Well, anyway, what he's basically trying to say is that, whenever somebody else, if you buy something from someone, you that person gets a little bit, loses some money, the other person gains money. So you want to pay attention to those things. Then he says that the way that things move through time is through productivity. So the more you're productive, the more money you'll make. But the speed of the amount of time you may get the productivity of something may take some time. He brings up the fact that you could be a farmer, and you can probably have somebody on your farm that is, you're planting seeds and you're doing it manually, hand growing it. But you may want to go ahead and to make more money and get more of a yield of the crops that you're growing. And that's when you will basically see that productivity can go from long term to short term. And long term and short term could basically be where you see, you plant your stuff in March, and then you might reap your crops in this September, for example. And then he's also talks about the fact that when as you're starting out, you don't have much, but then the end you grow up with some stuff. So he says that this particular ups and downs are considered like cycles. So when there's one person is earning money, somebody's losing money. And when somebody's earning money, somebody's losing money, and vice versa. He says that you can also go ahead and you can have cycles because of credit. And he says credit is pretty much where, like a bank will go ahead and give you money, and then we'll try to find some way to um, to get the money to you so you can do something more productive for it. So if you wanted to go ahead and start an online business selling t-shirts, whatever the case may be, you may have a t-shirt machine, but you might want to get a loan where you can get 2 or 3 machines and get people to work for you to actually make more and more shirts, and so you can spend more time on figuring out how to sell them. You don't want to spend all the time working on all of them. So what I'm bringing up is that you can see right now that if we're at the end of this particular one cycle, where 2008, we had like the subprime mortgage, stock market crash for various reasons. You can find out more about that on your own, but I want to bring that up right now. And our economy went down, and then we started going back up. We started making more and more money, but now we see another crash. And Ray Dalio in his book Principles, and also also in other videos that he's put up, he's talked about that this is always going to keep happening. This is basically how our economy works. In order for money to actually go from one person to another, you need to find somebody who works for it, and then once they work, they actually make the money. And then they can use that money to spend the money. And then after they spend the money, they go back and work. So you do that every single day when you have a job, and you may work that whole week. And then the next week you may work another week and you get paid, right? So, and then you usually try to figure out how to spend that money. Well, now that you know that this system always does that, we already understand those things. What is it for you? How do you work with this? Well, now you have to figure out how much money do you actually want to make. First, I would do is figure out how much money I actually need. Then you focus on, once you figure out how much you actually need, then you know how much money you actually have to grab. And then you can figure out different ways. Now I know one thing about learning how to make more money is learning. You have to actually learn before you can make it. You don't really want to have too many surprises in the way your process works. Many people who are very successful right now, like Jeff Bezos, he's the CEO of Amazon. He started out very, very humble beginnings, but he had an idea. He spent a lot of time. Did you know that 10 years went by when Amazon first came and founded, that they wasn't even making a profit? So now you can understand that these people who have these businesses understand where they want to go. And when they go towards that trajectory, there is nobody that actually stops them in changing that. They might have some different problems. They might have issues here and there, but they stay focused with their goals. So Ray Dalio, in the continuing with Ray Dalio's video, he goes in and he breaks down on what the stock market's about, what an asset's about, what transactions about. He talks about how people, how the government prints money. Well, not really the government. He talks about the Federal Reserve prints money. And he says that what happens in a recession, what happens in a depression, how do they work on putting these things back up together? These are some things you're not really going to get out of school, and you're going to have to spend some time doing it. I can't even talk about it in this entire video. It's so profound and complex, but it is doable. If we spent days like this, 10, 20 minutes out of the day, and you focus on communicating this information, you write certain different hashtags, and you spend this time to work on giving people what they need to understand how to move forward in life, you'll be able to reap more benefits. For instance, if you want to go ahead and you want to grow, the best plums, or plums, corn, whatever, you have to kind of make sure what type of fertilizer you're going to use, what type of crops grower you're going to use, how you're going to where you're going to be planting it. Is it going to be in the hot weather? Is it going to be in cold weather? All these things you can work on. If you want to expedite that, you hire consultants, people who've already done that or who are professionals in doing those things. They help you to expedite these things, and you continue to keep moving forward like that. Every year, you keep trying over and over and over again. You get better at it. So even if you do fail the first 2-3 times, you are moving forward. You're always moving forward. And that is one thing that I get from this idea, is that when you see that you might not necessarily be doing so well right now, there is someone else probably doing well. So you want to focus on how do you get, once they get all the money, what do you need to do to be able to get money back from them? So you need to provide a service. And this service allows, this cycle to continue to move forward in our lives, because if we don't necessarily understand those things, we tend to get frustrated. Or I originally used to get frustrated. Used to think that all the things were happening to me, but it's not. It's actually a part of the system. It's part of the plan for how we live our lives here in these economies. What happens usually is that some people make a little bit of bad bets and things don't go the right way we want them to go, but it's okay. We can always learn from those things. And that's what I mean by trying to pay attention to them. In my next videos, I try to talk about how to go about saving money, how to go about putting how to spend less money. That's one thing. How to save money on the different things that you want, because we're moving into this technological age where you're not gonna have a human being that's gonna be trying to sell these things to you anymore. Now you're gonna have bots that's gonna try to figure out what you may want based on what you say and what you click on, what you like, where you go, and try to find ways to get you to spend more money. And you have to be able to be prepared with this information so you can reap more benefits in the future. And I think that's it. I mean, please still take some time and go check that video out. And if you like this video, let other people know about it. But economic machine, Ray Dalio, is very important. Especially if you're looking to become a business owner, or you want to run a business, or you want to be a captain of your ship. There's definitely a whole bunch of different ways of getting it done. But you're going to have to spend the time learning the rules of the land. Take care.